The exit poll suggests a vindication for Ms Sturgeon and a disaster for the other parties in Scotland, all of whom were dragged down by their UK leaders. The First Minister put a second independence referendum at the heart of her campaign, saying a vote for her party was not just a chance to escape Brexit, but that she would interpret it as a clear instruction for holding Indyref in 2020. Although Ms Sturgeon dialed down the independence message in the closing days, urging people to vote SNP tactically mainly to lock Mr Johnson out of power, the unambiguous text of her manifesto will allow her to claim a mandate for the new vote on the Constitution. The poll's prediction of a thumping Tory majority south of the border and the near certainty that Brexit will now go ahead, can only add fuel to those demands. The constitutional crisis is likely to be one of the first things in Mr Johnson's in tray. The generic referendum legislation which would pave the way for Indyref 2 is due to complete its passage through Holyrood next Thursday. Ms Sturgeon has also said she will request the transfer of power to hold the referendum, under Section 30 of the 1998 Scotland Act, before Christmas. The Prime Minister has said he will simply mark it return to sender, but to dismiss it out of hand would be to invite a further backlash and boost support for independence. However, even if Mr Johnson attempts to let the SNP leader down gently, the issue is now certain to dominate the next Scottish Parliament election in 2021. If the poll is correct, and the SNP have achieved a second tsunami in a general election, there is a very real chance that the party will do likewise at Holyrood, repeating the absolute majority of 2011. Even Scottish Secretary Alistair Jack and former Scottish Tory Ruth Davidson have said a win on that scale would constitute a democratic mandate for another referendum. The First Minister last night urged caution in response to the poll. She said on Twitter it suggested a good night for the SNP, but added, "It is just an exit poll and there are many marginals, so let's just wait and see." What it indicates UK-wide though is grim. The exit poll also suggested the profound failure of the Scottish Tory campaign, which was almost exclusively focused on attacking Ms Sturgeon and on Indyref 2. Both proved considerably more popular than what the Tories were offering, Boris and Brexit. In a country where Mr Johnson's popularity rating is abysmal and almost two-thirds of people voted to remain in the EU, the Tories were always going to struggle. But they convinced themselves they had found a way to avoid a wipeout of their 13 MPs, and talked up their chances of winning in Lanark and Hamilton East and Central Ayrshire. Ms Davidson even promised this week that she would swim naked. For more on this story, visit the news article link.